The Western Maine Central Labor Council is an affiliation of about 15 unions, probably representing about 6,000, and we're sponsoring this forum tonight on the Employee Free Choice Act.
What Joe and I want to do is just give a real quick snapshot of this legislation, why it's so important, what it is, and the benefit that it would have to our country and to our economy. I think everybody knows, this legislation is designed to rebuild this economy so it works for working people and to guarantee workers the freedom to form unions. It amends the National Labor Relations Act by doing three simple things. If a majority of workers want to join a union and indicate support for it, they would have a union recognized. They would be guaranteed a first contract through binding arbitration, and there would be real penalties for employers that break the law. We've said time and again on paper in this country, everyone has the right to form and join trade unions for the protection of their interests. Right? The U.S. Constitution, through the Supreme Court, protects the freedom of association. It's an essential part of our First Amendment rights. And for workers, that means the freedom to associate, means the right to organize and collectively bargain. This is what we say on paper, but the reality is most workers' rights are violated consistently in this country, day in and day out. And so what we're saying in fighting for the Employee Free Choice Act is be true to what you said on paper. Workers are human beings who deserve to have fundamental human rights, and those rights should be protected and recognized. And that's what this campaign is really about.
First of all, my name is Rodney Curtis. I work at Central Maine Power. We organized a total of 8 departments. And those 8 departments, the majority of them signed cards. We had cards that were signed. 45 days after that, the company essentially said that they needed to have a vote. They wanted it to go to a vote. In the process between the time that we signed cards and the time that we came for a secret ballot, the company brought us into one-on-one meetings. They brought us into departmental meetings. They brought us into any kind of meeting you'd ever think of. During the daytime, during work, we were no longer productive. We were just sitting in meetings listening to what we were doing wrong. It was essentially telling us that if we joined the union, we would have nothing but a blank piece of paper with no more benefits, no more wage increases. We would have nothing. And that's what we would start from, and chances are that's what we would finish with to begin with. In the process of the intimidation, we lost one department. One department backed out and decided not to join. We voted in February, and it wasn't until April before we even sat down with the company for negotiations. During that time frame, they basically continued intimidating us. We sat down right around the first part of April with the company. They sat on the other side of the table. Everything that was handed across the table to them was no. So we were in negotiations for a total of 18 months.
I'm CJ Herlihy, and I'm an organizer, I'm not a nurse, with the Maine State Nurses Association. And we had an organizing drive up in northern Maine, and the nurses decided to form a union because there were major concerns about patient safety and management's ability to make changes to their working conditions with no input from the nurses. In all of our meetings, not one nurse was there for more money. It was all about patient safety and working conditions. And they were concerned about losing their nursing license. So these same nurses had a union campaign in 1995, and they lost by 1 vote. So 13 years later, we start again. At our first meeting, it was decided to sign union cards because there was so much support. Then the anti-union campaign began. A former nurse union leader from years before, who is now management, sent out a letter to all the nurses about how bad a union would be to the hospital. The hospital would close, the community would close down because it was a small town. So with the economy as bad as it was, especially up north, the price of oil, it was the final straw. The nurses, who most of them are the majority breadwinners in their homes, decided that they just couldn't take the chance, and we lost the election.
Okay, my name's Dan LeBlanc, and I'm from Lisbon Falls. I work at Night Celotex. I've been employed for that company for, I'm going on 21 years. Okay, I've been involved in 2 tries to get the union in. The first try failed because of all the intimidation from the company, telling them we get fired, we'd lose our wages, and on down the line. So as years passed, they promised us this and that. Things got a little bit better, but in turn, they went right back, but worse. So we got together again. It took approximately a year. The hardest part about getting a union together was to get the support from all the employees. Because as everybody started jumping aboard, the company would start intimidating them, and they'd kind of back. But we finally got our vote. We got the union voted in April, but it took until August to finally start negotiating. We're still negotiating now. We still don't have a contract. And with this Employee Free Act, it would speed up everything, and we wouldn't be going through all the things we're going through.
Hi, I'm Edwin Russell. I've been with the company for 16 years. I work production. After the union was voted in, the company decided we're going to shut the place down for a month. While we were laid off, half the guys didn't come back because they took machines out. Sorry. I wear it on my sleeves. They took machines out, took them to a place with dirt floors that didn't even have the power to run it. We're still running the board, shipping it to this plant where these 5 guys there trying to run this machine. 3. And they have nothing but problems, and they expect us, because it was our machine, we're supposed to go down there and help them fix this machine. I feel betrayed by the company. 16 years I've been there. Started there when I was 20 years old.
While this movement was going on, they knew who was in charge, who was going for the union. You didn't have to be a rocket scientist. Like this is the card I signed. When I signed this, I wasn't signing to vote 45 days down the road. I wanted to be represented by a union immediately.
My name's Jim Alexander. I'm with the Machinists Union. I'm the guy to help organize and currently working with the negotiating committee to negotiate their first contract at Knight Celotex. I had a 5th member that was going to be here tonight, but his father suffered a stroke, and unfortunately he couldn't make it here. He was the individual that was my lead on the second drive here, the drive that we were working on. His name is John Jasper, and he got fired. After the union won the election and the company contested it and objected to the election, and we went to the board hearing, the day that we were at the board hearing, the company notified him, we want you to meet with us the next day, and it's about a disciplinary issue. When he showed up at work, they fired him. The reason they said they fired him was because his behavior was inappropriate. He got in an argument, he got in a verbal argument with a supervisor. Past history was when you got in arguments like that, they might have suspended you for a day or 2, but not fire a man. The reason they fired him, he was admittedly the lead. He told them, I'm the guy that brought the union in here. I'm the one that got people to sign cards. I'm very pro-union. They fired him for that. There's no teeth in the current law, no punishment for when the company violates it. Just a smack on the wrist, put something up on the wall. 90 days. So, yeah, we were wrong. And they still do it. We need the Employee Free Choice Act. Thank you.
Any other comments? I think it... Brother Joe.
This does not do anybody any good if we don't talk about it with people. Now, I know there's a lot of union people in this room. There's some non-union people as well. It's important, very important, that we talk to everybody that we can about this issue, okay? Because that's the whole idea. We need to get this message out to people.